right, good morning, karibu sana to Morning Cafe, being the 10th day of September, 253 days into the year. Kama ulikuwa unapanga mambo ya Christmas, 106 days. In the next 1 week, tutakuwa tumegonga exactly 100 days to Christmas. Nakwambia mambo yanachemka sawa sawa. This is the Morning Cafe. My name is Freddy Ndibuli.
My name is Adam. We're going to say something to do with suicide today. Suicide Prevention Day.
It is actually World Suicide Prevention Day.
Ah, nice. My name is Ann Odida. This is Morning Cafe. Once again, karibu sana. Let's take a look at the local dailies. All
right, the big headlines today. We continue taking the scorecard of William Ruto at 3 years. Race against time, and they've come up with a clock on what exactly the president needs to do in the next 24 months.
Taifa leo, miaka miwili ya pressure. Miaka miwili ya pressure.
Yes, atatu ishaenda. Ni mbili sasa.
Mbili imebaki.
Taifa leo. Stable shilling, empty pockets, the cost of living riddle. They still talk about Ruto's economy. Every paper is just doing an analysis of William Ruto's tenure, 3 years on.
The Standard, Billionaires League. Kuna mtu hapa kwa Billionaires League.
Anaona amekuwa compared na nani? Beyonce. Oprah. Bill Gates. Zuckerberg. Na Elon Musk.
Yes.
Lafu amekuwa hapa amevaa sunglasses. Anakaa kama...
Hiyo ndo ligi yake.
Anakaa kama El Moto fulani.
El Chapo.
Billionaires League on the Standard.
The Star, how LSK court move could hit MPs and 2027 aspirants hard.
A very long sentence. Tutakuja kuangazia what exactly is that. And now, once again, we see the president with those dark sunglasses.
Yes.
So nafikiri ndio picha ya wakati huu. An even more interesting headline there on the Business Daily. Hackers steal 1.59 billion shillings from Kenyan bank customers. Wow. Now we'll be looking at these and other headlines with my panelists, a big panel today. Danson Mungatana, Senator Tana River. Beatrice Elachi, MP Dagoretti North. Justina Omai was a champion for economic democracy. Alikuanga ile chama ya...
Yeah, Wajakoya.
Roots.
Na unajua Roots wali to promise very good things. Say in their... whatever it's called, in their reign, ingekuwa the last day of work today.
Najua tungekuwa tumemonetize hyena kahunas. David Kiplagat MP Soy will be in studio as well. Starting at 6:30, that's when we'll be having these conversations. Do stand by for that. Tuvuke border tuangazie wanasema nini kule Uganda.
We start off with the Daily Monitor. Inside US-Uganda deportation deal. It is an agreement and a copy of the pact prepared by the Department of Homeland Security stipulates the parameters of engagement between Uganda and the United States. This story is on page 2. And there's a story here, nominations as it enters its last lap. Hawa ni members wale ambao wamekuwa nominated in several divisions.
Kumbuka wamekuwa wakifanya zile za local authorities, zile za mayors na watu wa council hivi.
They still shine the spotlight on the Constitution at 30. Why governance system puzzle remains a tinderbox in Uganda. Page 6 and 7. Tinder ile moja, tinderbox. Okay. Other stories here. Aga Khan V jets in today in Uganda. Road to 2026. Members of Parliament okay a 348 billion shillings IFAD loan for livestock project. And they say Parliament has approved the government's request to borrow at least 347.6 billion shillings, that is Ugandan money. And in dollars, it is 99.56 million shillings.
Kasema 200 million.
100 million.
USD.
Yes. From the International Fund for Agricultural Development to finance the resilient livestock value chain project in Uganda. On the top strip, Kony wanted, all actually dead, say ICC prosecutors.
Na watu washasahau maneno ya Joseph Kony. Yaitwa Joseph ama John Kony? Joseph Kony.
Okay. Joseph John. That's the Daily Monitor. All
right. Still in Uganda, you take a look at the new vision. No fundraising in churches and mosques. That's according to the Electoral Commission in Uganda. Matters 2026 elections. 3 parties, 4 independents submit voters' lists to the Electoral Commission. They're still getting ready for the elections that coming in January 2026. So, lakini mambo ya fundraising, hata Kenya walisema hakuna fundraising. Wamekaa wakiripiti kitu lakini they still do fundraising. Pale chini, an interesting photo of the royal family palace baptism. Na tuko na the royal family kule, walikuwa wamepeleka kijana mdogo akabatizwe. Who is dumping soil at Namugongo? There's another story on page 10. Museveni calls for EAC harmonized standards for education. Yes, if we could actually follow the standards of education in Uganda, I think would be better. ICC presents evidence against Kony. That's another story. We've seen it also on the front page of the Daily Monitor. And arrested soldiers grilled over bomb blasts. These are some of the stories given prominence in Uganda. What about Tanzania?
Standards of education in Uganda, and I'm just thinking about them calling clothes. Country.
See what? Actually, they believe that they have better English, that they speak better English than we do here in Kenya. Yes.
So it should be clothes according
to
No.
Unajua, it's the same way even in Kenya kuna wale wanasema crisps.
The cities in Uganda, BOT, economic stability is assured despite poll jitters and despite the country being in election season. The Bank of Tanzania has assured the public that the economy will remain stable as it takes measures to keep inflation under control and the shilling stable. Last week they highlighted that this year it's a bit different from other years in regards to how the Tanzanian shilling has been performing against the dollar. As of August 2025, Tanzania's nominal GDP was estimated at $86 billion, translating into a per capita GDP of about $1.
$1,280.
All right, $1,280, yes. Other stories here, plastic pollution. Where has Tanzania failed is a question there, and a story covered on page 5. And on the top strip, Bashiru, why Samia deserves another term. That's the Citizen.
All right. Staying in Tanzania, we take a look at the Mwananchi, which is focusing mostly on matters, elections and politics. Daktari Bashiru avunja kimya kwa Samia, afunguka kwa mara ya kwanza aliyopitia Samia baada ya kifo cha John Pombe Magufuli, azungumzia nchi ilipo, asema heshima ya watu inalindwa. Daktari Bashiru Ali akipigia debe Samia Suluhu Hassan anasema, nilishiriki katika vikao vya kutuvusha baada ya msiba, na wapa ushuhuda wa pili kiongozi wetu huyu, yani Samia, alionyesha umakini, utulivu na ujasiri mkubwa. Kampeni za Samia. Kule kwingine, Tundu Lissu baada ya kukutini, Tundu Lissu ahoji mashahidi wake kuwekwa kando. Mwenyekiti wa Chama cha Demokrasia na Maendeleo Chadema, Tundu Lissu ameibuka na mapya akilalamikia mahakama ya hakimu mkazi Kisutu pamoja na mambo mengine kwa kuorodhesha mashahidi anaokusudia kuwaita mahakamani katika kesi ya uhaini inayomkabili. He's facing treason charges. Miongoni mwa mashahidi aliwataja, lakini majina yao hayako hapa. Masuala zaidi kuhusu uchaguzi hautaathiri mzunguko wa fedha. Nafikiri hii ndio habari ambayo amesema pale Bank of Tanzania. Benki Kuu inafanya kazi kuhakikisha fedha inapatikana na ina thamani ile ile ili biashara na shughuli ziendelee kama kawaida kwa ukuaji wa uchumi. Governor wa Bank of Tanzania, Emmanuel Tutuba. Waziri Mkuu wa Ufaransa Abipu, wabunge wampigia. Habari nyingine pale, lakini kule juu SAU kukomaa na kilimo. Masuala ya kampeni, kuna jamaa pale wanasema kilimo. Na ndio gari, one of those cars zenye walipewa na Electoral Commission. Wonderful. Darasa la 7 waanza mtihani, NECTA yaonya. Dar es Salaam, wakati watahiniwa zaidi ya milioni 1 watatarajiwa kufanya mtihani wa darasa la 7 leo. Masuala ya siasa yakipewa kipaumbele kule Tanzania. Tutarejea kuangalia magazeti hapa nchini kwa kina kwa muda usiokuwa mrefu, lakini sasa tuangazie masuala ya hali ya anga. Hali ya anga tukianzia pale maeneo ya Garissa, wanasema kuna joto kingi kule Garissa, 24 degrees Celsius. It's mostly cloudy but highs of 34 degrees, which is a bit better than what we saw in Mandera. Yesterday was a highs of 36, I think. Yes, it was very high. A bit of precipitation there expected in Garissa today, 0.3 millimeters, but a very warm day, definitely. It will get warmer, and this will maintain this kind of weather, 34 into the weekend and into next week. All right, that's Garissa. Up north in Turkana.
Turkana this morning, it's 26 degrees, feels like 27, very hot indeed. It's a partly cloudy day, highs of 36 degrees in Turkana. Precipitation here, hakuna hata kitu kidogo hapo.
Ngoje kitu. Dip into the Rift Valley, Nakuru. It's a bit chilly this morning, 14 degrees. Clear skies with periodic clouds, highs of 26. This is warm because this is the kind of weather you'll actually even witness in parts of the coast. 26 degrees. Hiyo jua ya Nakuru inachoma, and as far as precipitation, 0.6 millimeters of rain. Hiyo ni kidogo sana. Going back to the coast.
Diani, 23 degrees, feels like 26 this morning. Clear skies with periodic clouds. Highs of 27 degrees. And precipitation in Diani today is 4.3 millimeters.
Which is the highest we've seen so far. Limuru. In Limuru, it's 11 degrees as expected, clear skies, and this is warm for Limuru. 21 degrees leo, watasikia joto, wale watu wa Limuru, leo watu wavai shati, watakaa na vest. 21 degrees, this is too hot. Precipitation hata huko hakuna kitu, 0.3 millimeters. Limuru leo muko holiday.
Enjoy while it lasts. Kuna time walikuwa 9 degrees.
All right.
Kama safe. In Nairobi, finally 14 degrees this morning. Clear skies with periodic clouds, highs of 24 degrees. Precipitation in Nairobi today, 0.5 millimeters. Yesterday, we were looking at 11.1 millimeters.
And if you think that 24 degrees is warm, wait for tomorrow and even the weekend. It's going to get as high as 27 degrees by Sunday, which is the kind of weather you're witnessing in Diani. 27 degrees. This is very high. And Turkana. Oh, but Turkana as we speak. Because by day itafika 26 degrees. All right, so that's the weather situation across the country. A lot of warming up. Leo ni kama wenye wanafanya biashara ya sweater wataumia kidogo.
It's 12 minutes past 6.
But incidentally, this is the best time to buy sweaters and
yes,
warm clothes.
Tiny 50 bobata.
Sahi hata wana throw away because they don't have a place to store.
Yeah.
Wakingojea next cold season. Let's take a look at the traffic situation and we go straight to the problematic areas. You can see leo Kangundo Road ni kama iko na shida maeneo kadha wa kadha. Pale Saika karibu na Naivas Supermarket, both sides of the road are a deep red, meaning kuna matatu ziko busy pale. Also at 201 Market, it's getting busy as you head towards the Outer Ring Road. Other than that, further Tasia, nothing out of the ordinary. That road from Utawala, the Eastern Bypass, is not so bad. And even Jogoo Road is looking friendly this morning. Pale karibu Mbotela na pale karibu City Stadium. Landis Road imekataa kuload, sijui inataka kutustua baadaye. Unajua inakaa hivi alafu unastukia kumbe ni red. Hapa hakuna shida. Na good. So Mudhurwa pale, Machakos bus station, there's no traffic this morning. Just a bit of traffic on Haile Selassie Avenue, but nothing to worry about. People of Kiambu Road, na nataka kuambia tena, people of Kiambu Road, mumeitika. Kuna shida pale Four Ways Junction. Yes. Hii kama hujajua kuna shida pale Four Ways Junction. They've actually dug a trench across the road. Just after the Four Ways Junction, next to that school there, next to Total Petrol Station. So hapo kuna construction inaendelea, the road is fully blocked, so there are diversions which are slowing down traffic. So kama hujatoka nyumbani saa hii and you're on Kiambu Road,
it will get messy.
Hii utalia. It will get messy and dusty because it's really dusty. So Kiambu Road, we do expect around 4 is hapo kutakuwa na shida kama hujatoka nyumbani. Thika Road not so bad, it's green all the way from Roiro mpaka pale ukifika Pangani Interchange. Kale kabottleneck kawaida, nothing out of the ordinary. The other parts of town, nothing to report. Traffic ni kama kawaida, green all the way on major roads towards town. That's the traffic situation as at 12 minutes past 6.
All right, let's have the quote of the day.
Challenges are the stepping stones to growth. It's through pushing past obstacles that we uncover true strength and build the resilience needed for success.
All right, let's come back and take a look at the local dailies in depth. Right, today we start off with the Daily Nation as it continues with the Ruto at 3 scorecard. So this is what they've done. They've enumerated 12 areas where the president had made serious promises during the campaigns in 2022, in the lead up to 2022. And according to this paper, most of these promises are yet to be delivered. Yes. So 1, agriculture, 2, housing, 3, healthcare, 4, education, 5, gender, women, governance, devolution, human rights, roads, economy, and manufacturing. So they've managed to put sort of a clock. Na hiyo wanasema kuna 24 months. It's 24 months to the next election. President William Ruto marks exactly 3 years in office this Saturday. But it's less than actually 24 months to the next election. Will he, and this is a big question, will he be able to do all these things that he promised to do? Yeah? 3 years on, sasa miezi ni 24 peke yake. Ataweza kufanya hii yote, because this is what he'll be judged by. When it comes to campaigning for 2027, utaulizwa hii yote ulituambia, umefanya? Ama atatuambia hapana, need more time. Sasa munipatie tena ndio niweze kufanya haya. Race against time.
Allies bado anasema apewe time.
Asema with the general election less than 2 years away, President Ruto faces mounting pressure to deliver on the lofty promises in his party's manifesto while addressing grievances against his administration, including a deteriorating human rights record and runaway corruption. The clock is ticking. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Ruto at 3 scorecard. That's a big one. I like it. I think this will form the major part of our discussion this morning with the 3 MPs and 1 other person. Other stories, Gachagua makes it back to the front page. Gachagua, 2027 kingmaker or going for crown. So people are still wondering, okay, will he support someone? Remember, he still has the impeachment tag.
Yeah.
Hanging over him, the cloud of impeachment hanging above his head. Will that allow him to vie for any office? Will he have surmounted the legal challenges and be cleared to run for office? And if so, will he go for the big seat? Will he want to be someone's running mate? Or will he sit back and say, okay, fine, huyu jamaa, odida tosha. That story is on page 7 and analysis of the same. Relief for teachers and civil servants on disputed allowance. That story is on page 10. But nasikia kuna mkutano mkubwa unaandaliwa hapa Ikulu ya Nairobi. Walimu wa kada zote nchini wameinvitiwa pale. 3,000 teachers will be at State House Nairobi. Wow. From Kupet, KNUT, Kepsha. Wengine wote wanaenda. Vile watu huitwa from Kiambu wanaenda, sasa walimu wanaenda huko. So that is a big story there. And nikiangalia huku ndani leo 2 years, Ruto's 2 years race to turn the tide on 2027. That's I think the biggest story. Not much else we are seeing that. Ruto welcomes Nile power deal, offers to mediate row. It's there on the front page. Back page of the Daily Nation. Stars hand Seychelles 5-0 thrashing at Kasarani. It's a very inconsequential match, but Harambee Stars, you did us proud. Congratulations. Wacha tuwapigie makofi. The national team recovered from a 1-3 loss to Gambia to hit Indian Ocean Islanders in Group F. So the 2026 World Cup win takes Kenya to 4th place with 9 points. Sasa ni kama tumepoteza hiyo lakini. Harambee Stars bounced back from their 1-3 loss against Gambia on Friday with a 5-0 victory against Seychelles. In 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier at the Moi Sports Center, Kasarani. That's the Daily Nation.
All
From
right.
the Daily Nation, tuangazie Taifa Leo.
Miaka miwili ya pressure, and the president is there on the front page. Kusema mbili tu. Okay. Rais atinga miaka 3 mamlakani, Wakenya wakisubiri atimize ahadi. Bado Wakenya anasubiri. Rais William Ruto ana miezi 24 tu kurekebisha makosa makubwa ya utawala wake na kutimiza ahadi zake nyingi alizotoa kwa Wakenya ili aweze kutetea kiti chake mnamo mwaka 2027. Akiwa amesalia na miaka miwili kabla ya uchaguzi mkuu wa mwaka 2027, Rais Ruto anakabiliwa na changamoto kubwa ya kutekeleza ahadi zake za mwaka 2022 zikiwemo agriculture pale, kuboresha uchumi, manufacturing pale, barabara, masuala ya human rights, devolution, governance, elimu, afya. Tunaona vile elimu na afya sasa hivi kuna skendo pale. Miaka miwili tu ya pressure. Kero ya bodaboda, vidokeze zaidi katika ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti hili. Wahudumu wa bodaboda wamekuwa wakichukua sheria mikononi mwao kwa kuteketeza magari na kusababisha hasara.
Juzi waliteketeza gari matatu fulani, kidhani wanapiga dereva. Kumbe ilikuwa ni bodaboda sako yao. Matatu yenyewe ni ya bodaboda sako. Wakaichoma.
Oh my goodness. Lakini right now wameambiwa watakuwa regulated. I was listening to one of them akisema, unajua watu wa bodaboda tunakuanga na hasira. Sasa mtu elewe. Wavinya timua 36 kwa ufisadi. Gavana aliwasimamisha kazi kufuatia tuhuma za ukiukaji wa maadili na ufisadi katika ukusanyaji mapato. Sasa ametumua watu 36. Dhehebu potovu la kwa Binzaro la angamiza vizazi sawa na Shakahola, yabainika kuwa kwa Binzaro pia kulivutia wanafamilia walioangamia au hawajulikani waliko. On the top strip, Gen Z sasa wachoma bunge Nepal. Waziri Mkuu Khadga Sharma Ol yajiuzulu siku moja baada ya maandamano makali.
Walitisha watu sana kule Nepal. Ukiangalia zile picha, kuna finance minister, or they say the finance minister, he was dragged and put in a river. Alikuwa na zabwa makofi.
Gen Z wa huko?
Gen Z wa kule hawabembelezi.
Sikia kuna bibi ya mheshimiwa pia alichomwa ndani ya nyumba.
Ilisemekana walichoma nyumba yake. Sasa tuelewe, because if you look at the major international media, they don't make mention of that. But a lot of the local media in Nepal and in India, they're talking about that the Prime Minister's wife probably may have succumbed to injuries sustained during that blaze. Still yet to be confirmed fully.
Right. Masala ya spoti, Seychelles yaona vimulimuli. Stars yanyeshea kisiwa cha Hindi mabao Kasarani, mabao 5.
All right.
Taifa Leo.
Gazeti la Taifa Leo, tuangazie People Daily. They still continue looking at William Ruto's scorecard 3 years on. Stable shilling, empty pockets, the cost of living riddle. And picha pale ya jamaa hana kitu mfukoni, lakini hapa kuna punda. Wamechora hapa punda, lakini kuna karakacha ya rais pale. Amebeba mizigo mengi, extra heavy, lack of media freedom, ethnic patronage, na nyingine ni kusema nini hata sija, lakini mizigo ni mingi, punda yenyewe amechoka pale. Stable shilling, empty pockets. An analysis of William Ruto's time as president 3 years on. So you can read more on that. People Daily, they say their motto is people and politics legal lens. Why democracy is on the edge in Kenya is another story on page 5. And I think, as we discovered last week, People Daily squeeze wameenda to analysis. Yeah. All right, from the People Daily.
The Standard, Billionaires League. Billionaires wako hapa on the front page.
Nani ana behave kama Beyonce?
Nani huyo ana behave kama El Chapo? President William Ruto. This is Mark Zuckerberg. Is it Mark Zuckerberg?
Yes.
Beyonce ako pale, Oprah Winfrey, Elon Musk. Huyo mwisho nani?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. Finer things. President William Ruto rode to power on promises of uplifting hustlers, touting the bottom-up model as the cure for the struggles of ordinary Kenyans. But 3 years into his term, he appears to have abandoned that philosophy. While urging citizens to tighten their belts, he loosens the public purse for his own indulgence, spending 12 million shillings on a private jet to Addis Ababa. With schools stuffed of capitation and counties unable to pay staff, his taste for billionaire luxury lays bare a leadership that preaches sacrifice but practices extravagance. This story is on page 6 and 7. Asema rais ana a colleague ya billionaires living large, lakini are we being too harsh with him? This story is about Ruto's scorecard, Ruto at 3, and he's quoted here one time and he said, "Unless you're firm, you can get nothing done. My background gives me the worldview, understanding of what the issues are, and by virtue of the opportunity I've gone through leadership. And in spite of a failed economy, the president doesn't mind spending big dollar," according to this newspaper. The story is on page 6 and 7. Billionaires League. There's a story here, city lawyer killed in cold blood in Karen. This is Mbogo Kialo, who was killed yesterday by a boda rider. I don't know if it's a boda rider, but somebody was on a boda.
Yes, 2 people riding on a motorbike.
Yeah.
Yes, and you see, this is the second time we've seen something similar like this. That MP for Kasipul,
yes,
Ongondo Were, was shot in similar fashion, was killed in similar fashion. Just 2 people on a motorbike, you in a vehicle, they come next to the vehicle, they shoot enough times and ride off, and it ends in death. But the most interesting thing, this story here says that he's a former political party's disputes tribunal chairperson. But yesterday there was a video doing the rounds in social media about this gentleman who happens to be a cousin to the former president. His name is Captain Kongo Muigai. And he has been having some case in court, and he came out and did a video and circulated it online, talking about how there's corruption in the judiciary. Now, the thing is, he mentioned that at one point in his case, it is this lawyer that was representing him in court.
Mbobu
Kyalo. And on the same day that he does that, the same day this happens. So I've seen lawyers coming out now pointing that out, that, okay, is it coincidental that this name was mentioned elsewhere in a big profile case? And then something, we do not know, but a lot could be happening. But it's a sad thing that now we've gotten to a point where assassinations have become commonplace. Yeah.
Those are the stories given prominence on the front page of this newspaper. Tukiendelea kuangalia ndani, why more adults are losing sleep, turning to drugs.
Watu hawalali. Watu hawalali.
Unalala.
Usingizi kuji. Unalala. Sleep is for children.
Lala, wachana na
This is stress, gadgets and lifestyle choices are driving the country's insomnia crisis. And the quote here, psychologist Professor Imbuki is saying many adults are turning to drugs and supplements to find sleep. Sleep is not coming
easy.
Rahisi.
Anasema people are chasing money in desperate ways because they are competing. I used to think peer pressure was only among children, but now it's worse among adults. There is pressure to fit in. Children hata wananga peer pressure.
Wanalala, unasikia unalala kama mtoto. Ukifika adult hakuna usingizi.
Yes.
There's no sleep for the wicked.
No sleep for the wicked. Broken promise, abductions and killings take root in Ruto's regime. Still talking about Ruto's scorecard 3 years in. In the inside pages, still does Ruto feel for hustlers after meteoric rise to empire builder? That's another story there. And Kindiki, Musalia face litmus test in 2 critical mini-elections. On the back page of the Standard, it's a 5-star finish for Harambee Stars, and Harambee Stars pump in 5 goals past hapless Seychelles. Kenya's national football team gives their fans something to smile about. These goals were scored by Ogam, who scored 2, Olunga 2, and Sishenji 1.
Yeah, interestingly, Olunga is a captain of the team. Ogam is one of the top scorers in the Chan tournament.
Yeah.
So it was nice seeing those top scorers doing their thing yesterday against Seychelles. All right, finally the Star, not finally, one more. How LSK court move could hit MPs and 2027 aspirants hard. Yes, someone has gone to court and he wants 6 agencies to enforce leadership and integrity laws. The story is on pages 4 and 5. And his argument is that so many people were not properly vetted and ended up being elected into houses of parliament. That if we focused and we actually pay close attention to chapter 6 of our constitution, most of these leaders should not be elected and should not be in parliament. Yes. So anasema hiyo ikipita watu wengi watatoka nje. Pale kuna picha ya Rais William Ruto akiwa kule Ethiopia. Ameandika pale anapanda stairs, alikuwa ameenda kuona hii dam, alafu anasema pale, now that's what you call a major dam. Yeah. Matters infrastructure. President William Ruto tours a grand Ethiopian Renaissance dam that after its launch yesterday, a big dam there in Ethiopia. How counties will share out the 3.7 billion shilling roads levy cash. Ile pesa walikuwa wanapigania na MPs. Finally, the court said it ended up kwa counties. How they're sharing it, what will your county get? That's on page 6. And UN panels call for vigilance by South Sudan neighbors. Wanasema kuna vitu vingi vinaibiwa kutoka South Sudan na vinapitishwa kwenu. Pale juu, Siaya teens among dozens to benefit from Kisumu brain and spinal surgeries. Page 3. New lease of life, and there's a special report here on abuse of power. Why sex work, Somali-like looks, and bar business puts you in police radar. That's a Star. Fresh, independent, different, ukiwa na shilingi 60. You can read more on this paper because smart people read their Star.
All right, finally, Business Daily. Hackers steal 2 billion shillings from Kenya bank customers. Hackers stole a record of 2 billion from Kenyan banks last year in attacks that highlight the risk of cyber heists as lenders go heavy on tech and mobile banking investments. The disclosure in a central bank report on digital fraud in the Kenyan banking sector shows that the theft of customer deposits has grown 4-fold from 412 million in 2023 due to fraudulent wire transfer requests. This story is on page 2. Treasury plans 129 billion shillings debt for food swap in March. And next year, the country will issue a pioneering 1 billion shillings debt for food swap deal with the World Food Programme as the country seeks fresh solutions to ease the mounting debt burden.
So inasema tunapeana food to World Food Programme, tunasamehewa deni.
Okay. On the ticker, Treasury to borrow more from domestic market in U-turn. UK Group 6 permit to revive Kirio Flasper project. And US investors raise portfolio holdings. That's the Business Daily.
All right. Tuangazie the cartoons today, tuone wachoraji wanasema nini. But before that, just a reminder, Danson Mungatana, Beatrice Alachi, Justina Wamai, and David Kiplagat. These are the individuals who will be in studio, most of them legislators, to discuss the big headlines. Ruto at 3, that's a big discussion this morning. In a short while, tuangazie cartoons sasa. Ya kwanza tunaanza na cartoon on the Star. Kuna watu wengi, there's a group of people wanajaribu kumap out maneno hapa. Na ni karakacha ya wale wanaitwa United Opposition. Wanajaribu kuona tutenda aje kule mbele. What will happen? Who will be our flag bearer? Wameongeza hata Muhisa Kitui sasa ameingia pale. Ule Cleo amesimama pale nyuma. Hapa chini ni Muturi, Eugene, Matiang'i, Kalonzo, Gachagua, Karua wanang'ang'ana kuchora.
Mbona mguu iko nje?
Hii mguu ni kama inataka kuenda upande mwingine. This cartoonist. Sababu kule kuna majamaa wengine wanachungulia wale, kuna 3 brothers huku. William Ruto, Raila Odinga na ule mwingine Prime CS. Na huyu jamaa anataka kusemekana, according to this cartoonist, mguu moja iko kando, iko nje. Anaweza tembea na wale.
I saw someone on X, somebody said, one of these guys will betray this coalition.
Will it be him? That's a cartoon on the Star.
All right, is this Daily Nation?
Daily Nation, yes.
This calls for another task force. Kuna accident hapa imefanyika, imegonga miti, and wale ambao wako ndani. I see the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki caricatured here, the President and the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Wanaambiwa slow down, follow the Constitution. Follow the Constitution.
Washatoka kwa barabara.
Slow down, follow the Constitution, lakini as they follow the Constitution unapata ajali. This calls for another task force.
Tayari ameform 10 task forces since 2022.
Zenye hakuna vitu zimefanya. According to the newspaper we looked at.
Yes, very inconsequential. Hakuna hata ile elimu ile education reforms. It's gathering dust somewhere. Star known people daily, there's a cartoonist here. Matters by elections. Na watu kuna jamaa wawili hapa wamebeba briefcase ziko na pesa. Wanaambiana, let's think outside the box. Box ni gani? By elections. Why don't you drop in my favor? What's your offer? Watu wana negotiate hapa. Think outside the ballot box. Not just think outside the box. Think outside the ballot box. People are using, and this is the influence of money in the by-elections and even in the elections come 2027. That's what is captured by the cartoon on the People Daily. Finally, the standard.
Faith still making it in the caricatures this week. Anasema, I am faithfully weighing my options. Compensation or the court.
Na amechezea jina yake sana. Losing faith, I am faithfully, we have faith in faith.
Faith. All right, that's the standard.
Okay, the LSK president making it to the cartoons today. All right, so those are the big discussions, but today being a Wednesday, it is Relationship Wednesday.
And we're asking, do people still date to marry? Tuambie hapo.
Watu wana date kufanya nini siku hizi?
For fun.
Hakuna ati we are dating leading to marriage.
Yes.
We're just dating.
To pass time.
For the sake of dating.
Yes.
All right.
Meanwhile, do interact with us on our socials. TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, on X at TV47 News, on X at TV47 Digital. I beg your pardon. My handle on X is at @Ann_Dida.
My handle on X is at Fred Indebule.
And you can already see your feedback there. Tukianza na Gladson, and just a minute, I've messed up a little bit. Abubakar Mululu, let's start pale Facebook. Anasema, a very good morning from Machakos. Sami Nanga from Kakamega town following, watching live from Karen, Nairobi. That is Lameki Bakari. Now please, Jumkish. Kweli. Following, Roni Bet anasema following live in Bomet. Bado hapo Facebook too, Gladson Omomo anasema, it's always a good day connecting with a friend and share laughter. This chilly morning calls for such vibes and inshallah. Good morning, Anne and Fred. Good morning, Gladson.
Good morning, Gladson.
Steve Stekiman anasema, good morning. Special Joy anasema, good morning, great people. Good morning, you're great to you. Go to heaven direct.
Straight.
Apparent Apex anasema, good morning, Africans. Good morning. There's something on X there. Some really juicy moments over here. I see the headlines are thought-provoking at its best. The Star one stands out. The Star kama kawaida, very fresh, independent and different. And finally, Akela Jr. watching, anasema, yes, here we go. Morning Cafe, watching live from Nairobi. And Anno Dida, Fred Ndimuli received my greetings, guys. So cool. You are so cool too. You'll go to heaven as well. Do interact with us and stay with us. We'll be back in a short while.
Our world is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's minds. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptoms tomorrow. By the time you pick it or the time it is manifesting in you, probably will be there about 5 to 10 years.
The eye is the window to the rest of the body.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
And of course, you at home do take your water.
So the ultimate test is actually you check your urine. Your urine should be clear.
Clear like the water?
Yes. Should be able to see the other side of the urine. If your urine is colored or has changed color, you cannot see the other side, then you have not taken enough water.
Don't forget regular health checkups. Early detection saves lives.
I want the message be, we can prevent cervical cancer. We prevent cervical cancer in several ways. You have young girls and even somebody who's above that age, you can pay at least every 3 years. Somebody should have a pap smear done.
If you are 40, 45, 50, going upwards, once a year, please go see a doctor. Yeah, it's just for normal routine maintenance.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30.
Our world is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's minds. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth, as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the
Years of mistrust.
Yes.
That is how the Supreme Court has described the country's long-standing crisis of confidence in its electoral system. The Apex Court now saying the trust deficit in the country's electoral system remains a growing concern, even as it declined to issue an advisory opinion sought by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. The court has instead called on political leaders to undertake meaningful reforms, blaming the current situation to years of politicizing the electoral process, undermining institutions and delaying reforms.
As a commission, we get uncomfortable because some remarks have the effect of denting the credibility of IEBC.
Mm-hmm.
They not only have the capacity to dent the credibility of IEBC, but they also discourage the interests of voters in participating in the electoral process.
Mm-hmm.
Because these leaders have followers who believe in them, who trust them.
In a unanimous decision delivered by a full bench led by Chief Justice Martha Koome, the Apex Court cited ongoing legislative interventions on the same matter through the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2024, which was passed by the National Assembly to the Senate. The IEBC, through its secretariat led by CEO Marjan Hussain, had filed a request seeking an advisory opinion on the extension of lapsed timelines for the review of electoral boundaries on July 4th, 2024, during a period when the commission was not fully constituted. The 7-judge bench says a clear distinction must be drawn between administrative continuity by the Secretariat and the exercise of constitutional authority vested in the Commission as a collegial entity. They further emphasized that constitutional mandates outlined under Article 88(4) of the Constitution cannot be discharged without a quorum, as stipulated in Article 251 and 2. The court held that only a properly constituted IEBC can initiate such a request, and that with legislative efforts underway in Parliament, any decision by the court could be premature and hypothetical. Under Article 89(2) of the Constitution, IEBC is mandated to review constituency boundaries at intervals of not less than 8 years and not more than 12 years. The process should be completed at least 12 months before a general election. Article 89(3) and Section 26(3) of the County Governments Act requires the review of ward boundaries within the same timeframes. The ruling now puts pressure back on Parliament and political leaders to act in good faith, not only to restore public trust in the IEBC, but to protect the integrity of future elections. Linda Alela, TV 47.
Yes, indeed. One of our main discussions today matters to do with boundaries review. The Supreme Court finally giving the advisory sought by IEBC on what happens now that the date stipulated in the Constitution was defied. It lapsed in March 2024. This is more than a year and a half later. Boundaries review is yet to happen, which is provided for in Article 89 of the Constitution on delimitation of electoral units. This morning we're privileged to have Justina Wamai. After such a long time, it's good to have you back in studio. Champion for Economic Democracy, karibu sana.
Asante.
Next to Justina Wamai, we do have Beatrice Elachi, MP Dagoretti North. It's also good to have you in studio, Madam. Karibu sana.
Morning. Asante.
Now, this issue about boundaries delimitation, and probably one would have expected a much clearer direction by the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court has spoken. And it would appear they've thrown the ball back in the Court of Parliament, saying that this issue, yes, at least they clarified that, yes, the fact that there were no IEBC commissioners in place, that may justify the extension, but that this would only be subject to a parliamentary process, either through an amendment of the Constitution, which is yet to happen, or a resolution like through the NADCO process. We have less than 2 years to the next election. The fact that this amendment is yet to happen could still cause problems. The IEBC, the Supreme Court says it cannot act on hypothetical situations. So they're waiting to see if Parliament will take action. Do you still find it feasible that we could have a proper boundaries review before then? Or do you feel that it's easy for Parliament to actually undertake a proper amendment to this Constitution, which is yet to happen 15 years later?
Me? Or
yes, Justina, we started.
I feel like time is up, and when you look at many of the parliamentarians now, their focus is the 2027 election. So I don't think they're going to give too much attention to focusing on amendments. Do we have the time? And again, it requires resources. Are they willing to give us a supplementary budget to fund that exercise? So that I think when the court said it should go back to Parliament, they were focusing on the funding, they were focusing on the interested parties, the politicians. Are they willing to have these boundaries done? Again, they're the ones, the politicians, the current politicians who have won the seats stand to benefit more because if you change your boundaries, maybe your people, you know, there are some people you have in your constituency who you feel support you. Maybe you might lose them in the boundary review. So I think why the court did that is for the ones who are interested, wanaohusika na hili swala, to deal with it from an angle of funding, from an angle of what they feel is right and what might benefit them.
Yes. The concern is that there are people who feel that failure to undertake this boundaries review could end up in legal challenges about the elections come 2027. And the Supreme Court says the remedy to that is for members of Parliament to actually effect an amendment so that this extension can happen. Meaning failure by Parliament to do so could still leave us with the possibility of legal challenges, Madam Elachi. Don't you think that Parliament now has to prioritize this, at least to ensure there's an amendment so that boundaries review can be extended, at least the deadline can be extended?
For the timeline to be extended? Well, yes, the timeline can be extended so that we replan ourselves as a country. You know, it's very easy to say all these things, but let me be very honest to you. Boundaries is not about even Parliament. It's very emotive, very emotive. It's about tribes, it's about clans. And I think that is where everyone is running away from, because they know it becomes very volatile also. So it's not even about this vote will go this side or this side, no. Vote you can move. So it's not about moving the vote. It is about, are we ready for now, as you look at the country, to go into this process and make it a credible process, because we can still go in the process and we'll end up all of us in court. So this clan will say, now you have taken even the graves of our people on this other side. Now you have taken our shrines from this side to this side. There are many things. So it is not a process where you can do it in 2 years. It's a process, if we are willing to do it, we must start early, so that if there are any issues that will raise, and I'm happy we are here with Senator, he will tell you about Tana River and those boundaries, and then you will see how we look at, the challenge is not even anyone else, it's us, all of us Kenyans, how we look at our ancestral boundaries. You see, people don't remember, we are not making boundaries to make you dysfunction, no, or make you feel you have been tilted, no. We are trying to make boundaries so that we try and serve closer our people. Now, do they believe in that? If you take it to Mbere, what will they say? And then, as you do these boundaries, remember we have like 14 constituencies that we need to kill. Are they willing to kill those ones? Are we willing to dissolve them because the numbers do not add up based on what you also proposed? So those ones will be fighting the same process and saying, you know, if we start this process, it means we are going to be also affected and all that. So we have to finish. I would prefer, let's just clear, because now we are 2 years to an election, IEBC to start bringing in the processes, sitting down and doing fast. In fact, the first thing they will just come and say, public participation. The same courts will now give orders. Oh, you did not do public participation in Kuria, and now you have decided to do Kuria to remain in Migori, and Kuria will be telling you, we don't understand, we don't want to come out of Migori, Siji what, and then that boundary, we will start saying we need a county, and this Pokot of down here in Baringo needs a county. Are you seeing those things? Okay. So you have to, they need to plan knowing there are many, many
and I hear you that we've agreed that probably we do not have time to effect a proper delimitation and review of boundaries. But now the Supreme Court, Senator, now is directing this, that for this to be okay, there has to be an amendment to the Constitution, meaning that Parliament has been boxed into an amendment, probably the very first amendment of this Constitution. 15 years on, we've not managed to amend anything. Are we saying that this will be the first thing that we have to do because we have no choice? The Supreme Court says Parliament now has to amend the Constitution so that we can have an extension, because we are clear we cannot have the boundaries review before the next election.
Okay, first of all, Kenyans listening to me should know that Article 88 of the Constitution gives the IEBC the sole power to delimit or amend the boundaries of the Constitution. Then Article 89 of the Constitution also says that the numbers of constituencies are fixed at 290. And we cannot increase to 291 or reduce to 289 or whatever. But you can vary the boundaries, okay? Now, there are factors that must be taken into account when you are varying the boundaries, like the population, the community of interests, what Mheshimiwa was talking about, where the communities are located. You know, you must take care of the topography of the area. You must take care of, you must consider the means of communication. All these factors, IEBC is supposed to look at them when they are considering variation of the fixed number of 290 constituencies. Now, first of all, we must accept that time is not there for us to do this, because whenever you start constituency delimitation of wards, delimitation of boundaries for constituencies, you create a lot of emotional issues. They arise, you know, and this becomes very, very tricky and very difficult. And those of us who went into who are, you know, lucky enough to be part of the constitutional review that gave birth to this constitution in Naivasha, will tell you, when it came to delimitation, even agreeing on the number of counties, it was a very, very trying period. It was almost a deal breaker. But, you know, I'm just putting that so that you can understand the issues around constituency or ward delimitation or review of boundaries. Now, the Supreme Court has given opinions before. For example, that we must have gender balance, you know, in a parliament that didn't have a gender balance. And the practicality of it, and it's not just the Supreme Court, but many courts, sometimes they tell you, like the CDF judgment, if you recall, they were told the CDF is illegal, you don't have the power to do it, but you have time until this time so that you can, you know, make changes. So finish the project by this time. After that, you cannot get any more allocations for CDF. So sometimes even the court is aware that due to practical realities, it is not possible to carry out some things irrespective of the orders they have given. So for the institutions that are charged with those responsibilities, like the IEBC, what I would advise them to do as a person who has been around in this space for some time is to start the processes, okay? Take that ruling of the Supreme Court and do what it can to comply, okay? And you must demonstrate to the court that we have tried to comply. How do you do that? You say, okay, we've been served with this ruling, this advisory from the Supreme Court, and this is what we are going to do. We are presenting, the budget for this is estimated as, say, 20 billion, okay, or 200 billion, whatever. We will have public participation, we will have this, we will have that. We will invite communities to give their whatever. We will have to hire people, we'll have to do this, etc., okay? So we've started to comply, okay? But then Treasury is the one that must allocate that money, okay? If the money is not allocated, they can simply go back to the Supreme Court and say, because of practical realities, we've not been able to comply with the court, but we are not in contempt. We have not said we do not want. Same thing with members of parliament, both at the National Assembly and at the Senate. I mean, the constitutional, the extension of time for the review of the delimitation of the boundaries for wards and for the constituencies can be introduced. There's no harm. I mean, even tomorrow, I can file that amendment in compliance with the Supreme Court.
Yes.
But I'll tell you, Fred, to even move 1 inch, 1 dot of the Constitution within the Senate, it is a problem.
And that is my concern now. So that the Supreme Court has advised.
Can I finish?
That, yes.
Can I finish?
Focusing on that issue of extension.
Yes. Can I finish? When you introduce a constitutional amendment, and let's say Mungatana files that amendment tomorrow, and the processes of constitutional review are long and tiring. And even if, say, we push it to the point that we have the first reading, it still has to go to public participation and so on. You know, it could come to second reading, and people now, maybe that will be some 6 months or 8 months down the road. 8 months down the road, I myself may not be very available in the Senate because most people will have hit the road to start looking for their re-election. So the fact of the matter is that getting that 2/3 majority to make an amendment is not an easy thing. Preparing a constitutional amendment that will mean going out to seek a referendum has both financial and political implications. It's not an easy thing. Okay. So I think what needs to be done is that the National Assembly, the clerks of both National Assembly and the Senate need to show that they are trying to comply. The IEBC, which is the central institution in this matter, needs to show that it is complying. If they have difficulties, they'll go back to the Supreme Court and explain themselves.
Do you see a risk here that failure to properly secure extension of delimitation of boundaries in the law, in the Constitution, through an amendment of the Constitution, could mean that we might have possible serious legal implications come 2027. There are some constituencies that were only to exist for a certain time, yes, because of what was prescribed back in 2012. Constituencies like Mvita, if they go ahead and have an election in 2027 without a proper extension to actually ensure that everything is within this constitution, don't you think that those things will be challenged come 2027 in court?
Thanks a lot, Indemuli, and good morning to our viewers. Maybe looking at this subject is a bit, it's a constitutional question that need to be answered constitutionally. So if you look at, there are two articles which I think the court and Parliament and whoever will be looking at the matter will rely on. There is Article 82 that actually gives Parliament that power to legislate a law that will allow IEBC to do the delimitations. That's in Article 82. In Article 89 is now where we have the lacuna, in that IEBC is mandated by the Constitution to review the delimitation of boundaries, both for constituency and the wards, every 8 years, but should not exceed 12 years. So that gives a cap of around 2024. What can happen in that is that there are two ways around it. One is that IEBC can propose to Parliament, or Parliament can propose the kind of legislation that is required for them to be able to do that delimitation as per Article 82. The other aspect is that given by human nature, we created a lacuna where there was no IEBC, because IEBC is the commission. Mm-hmm. So when there's no commission, there was no IEBC. Given that there was no IEBC, then it is upon now the courts to assist the country to be able to interpret that lacuna, that given that there was no IEBC, by the time we were in 2024, there was no IEBC. And now that there is IEBC, which I believe is, if you read what the orders of the advisory from the Supreme Court is, that now that there is a proper IEBC, mm-hmm. can they sit as a commission and be able to handle that mandate? And immediately from there, that extension will necessitate, because of those were factors beyond what we were looking at. So if they immediately start, and the beauty is, apart from if you remove politics, if that extension is given by virtue of what the surrounding of what happened, and if we remove politics, they still have 1 year mm-hmm. To finish the limitation, because...
so you feel it's still possible to have it?
May I finish?
No, it's a question. Do you still feel it's possible to have it?
They come up with, and it is passed, so long as it is not by 2026 August, because they have to have existed 12 months to an election, then it can be done. Secondly, it does not mandate that they can only do delimitation because there is an election that is coming. They can start the process. They can take 3 years. It's only that even if they pass 2027, the only thing is that it will not be used in the election of 2027. It will be used in the next election of 2030.
And the challenge here is these are legal issues that could stand the test of the courts.
You see,
there's an election in 2027. Mvita constituency should not be in existence as it is
now.
Right now.
You see, Mvita has existed now for how many years?
No, I'm saying according to the
okay, if you do the sampling now, you know, by then, maybe there were 30,000. May I finish? Maybe there were 20,000.
We need to take a break, yeah.
Now, if you go right now, you'll find there are 30,000, which they have reached the threshold. So you need to go back to find out the current data.
Okay.
Do they still have that problem? And McHugh, by the way, you know, sometimes we cheat Kenyans that the review is supposed to create constituencies. Constituencies will remain 290.
All right.
It's only that the border the
Allow me to cut you
borderline
short. We take a short break. We'll be back.
I
and
think
we'll
the only
continue.
lacuna, may I finish? The only problem that can create a constitutional crisis is this population quota. Because if somebody goes to court and says that the representation is in parliament is not fair enough because of the population quota,
so it can
that
go
you
to
can find in. So
right.
maybe I have, may I finish?
No, allow me to cut you short because we're way beyond.
Registered voters, and there's another constituency that has 40,000 registered voters.
Yes.
Somebody can go to court to say that why is it that there's only one representation?
And I think we're in agreement now that one can actually challenge it in court.
For 20,000, and
it's 4 minutes past 7. It's 4 minutes past 7. We should have taken a break at 7. Let's take that break right now. We'll be back to continue this discussion about the limitation of boundaries. You're watching Morning Cafe.
Our world is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's minds. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptoms tomorrow. By the time you pick it or the time it is manifesting in you, probably will be there about 5 to 10 years.
The eye is the window to the rest of the body.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
And of course, you at home do take your water.
So the ultimate test is actually you check your urine. Your urine should be clear.
Clear like the water?
Yes. Should be able to see the other side of the urine. If your urine is colored or has changed color, you cannot see the other side, then you have not taken enough water.
Don't forget regular health checkups. Early detection saves lives.
I want the message.
Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Cafe, and we continue to examine the pronouncements by the Supreme Court yesterday with regard to the issue of delimitation and review of boundaries, because it's been a thorny issue. But just listening to the legislators here, you get the feeling that they're not taking it as a big issue. It is something, I'm sure it's not politically convenient for any of the legislators currently, but they feel that this is something that they can move around and without consequence. This is the Constitution we're talking about. Article 89 is very express in the deadlines it has set. Defiance of this Constitution definitely should have consequence. Do you see a problem or a risk that we may get to 2027 elections and members of parliament may fail to provide for a proper extension of the deadlines and therefore cause other legal hurdles to the elections conducted in some constituencies?
From what I've picked, it underpins what I'd said, issue of budget, issue of availability of the members of parliament. Senator told us that at some point, and it's true, it's human nature, you have to go and campaign. So it leaves, where does that leave the country? I think that when we look at Article 89, we are told that 89.4, it says that it should be done 12 months before the election. But if an election is held within 12 months within the 12 months after the completion, then we cannot use those boundaries in 2027 election. So it goes back to, we need to ask, what do we learn? What are the lessons? 8 to 12 years, what were we doing? That's the first question. What the leadership of parliament, did they really anticipate this? Number two, it also goes to change. We should change and incorporate something called a crash program in our parliament. I mean, even universities have crash programs. If there's something of urgency, how can they accommodate such a situation so that we move forward? Remember, there's the issue of 12 months. By August 2026, it should be done. But if it's not done, we will not use these boundaries. So looking at it, and as Mheshimiwa said, that maybe Mvita had 20,000 at that time, the population has grown to 30,000. Those are things that if someone challenges in court, then they look at the reality on the ground. But as it is, in all fairness, I don't think they're not serious. They're just giving us the reality on the ground, that at some point, Fred, somebody will go and campaign and they won't have time to do legislation.
Okay.
Yes.
Issues like Article 89 definitely are inconvenient for so many people, the delimitation of boundaries. Just like other proposals to amend this constitution, do you think that this is one of those articles we need to relook at in possibly the first tranche of amendments to this constitution, Madam Elachi?
Well, we need to amend that one. No, by the way, nobody is in dispute. Madam Elachi here has 170,000 voters. I need them to be split because I'm unable to honestly say we are serving them accordingly. So it's not about that. I have said, unless we want to have some emotions, what we really want to achieve now, that we cannot just prepare and IEBC prepare well, because it's not a process they'll finish even in 1 year. You have to do to 290 constituencies public participation. By the time you are finishing your 290, 70 will be in court. You must prepare money for IEBC to be going to court, to be doing what, to understand. I said what? Do public participation. When you're finalizing in that constituency, you're coming out with a clear agreement that we've agreed these boundaries will be like this, and Clan X is not feeling that Clan B has decided to override on them. So for me, if you want this process to be a process that is fair to every Kenyan in the 290 constituencies, please, 1 year is public participation. 1 year. I'm being honest, because every month you'll be in a constituency, it has 5 wards. You are eliminating not just the constituency, plus the wards. You must go to each ward. And remember, after the impeachment of the former deputy president, what did the court say? You can only do your public participation in a constituency. So you can't say you're carrying them to a county. And now this one is you must be in the ward, not now the constituency. So in some constituency you have 7 wards. Each day give a ward. It means in a week you are doing 5 wards. Saturday and Sunday, if you put in, fine. You finalize the report, you sit with them and you tell them, have we agreed this way as you move to the next? But don't tell me you'll just move to, no. You will be more in court for 3 years without any decision than doing the public. That's why we are saying, IEBC, start preparing your framework. How do you want to do this? How do you cluster the 47 counties with their constituencies, with the 1,450 wards? How do you want to do this deal? I mean, so we can't blame them. You can't blame us. We can, by the way, getting the 2/3 also, we know it's an issue of the country. We will pass it. Then we will give IEBC 3 years to do this one. And without making them...
But at least the legal basis will be there.
No, the legal basis will be there.
It's a legal basis.
By the way, to get the numbers for this, nobody has an issue. Okay. You need to first wait.
It's possible you can have these amendments before.
It is possible.
It's just that the legality of that extension that I'm looking at.
So we will look at the legality, we will pass it, but we will now tell IEBC, start this process so that by in 2032, we start a new dawn for Kenya.
Yes.
Forget about all these things we're saying. But that new dawn has to start properly with good foundations to take them to
including
2063.
the legal foundations.
Everything.
Senator, and you're a lawyer, and I need just some advice in as far as constitutionality is concerned, because I look at Article 89 and it's how it describes the deadline and the timelines, and I compare it to the article that talks about the election date, which says it has to be this particular day after this particular number of years. And are we saying that since we can defy Article 89, that we can also defy the article on election date without consequence, without really amending the Constitution? We can just move on like that and nothing happens.
Okay. There's something called force majeure in law. That is, you can also call it act of God. Say, for example, for whatever reason, we have the second Tuesday of the 5th year on the 8th month. That is what the Constitution says we should have the election, right? Now, what if Kenya is at war? Are we saying we can't change that? So we have a situation where facts being presented to court as into the inability on a practical level to comply. The court, we live with these judges. They don't live in mass, you know. They don't live in wherever. We live with them and they know. So I'm taking this example, the same Vita, elections are held as it is now, and we have a new member of parliament, or the same Mheshimiwa Machele retains, and then somebody wakes up and says, no, this should have disappeared, so he goes to court. Fine, I mean, everybody has a right to go to court. They have even sued God in court, yeah? And then when we reached court, you say, no, let us take this, let's declare this election nullity. Fine. And they will also, the other side will be given an opportunity. Okay, we should have had this review in 2024, but there was this and that and that and that. So therefore, because of that, what IEBC, because IEBC will be part of that suit, IEBC has done this and that in preparation for that, but it was not practical at that time. So the court then will say, practicality has overtaken the hard legal principle. So for this reason, we are doing this and that and that. The court has unlimited power when it is presented for purposes of interpretation of the Constitution. The High Court has unlimited power, and it has power to make all this. So I think Kenyans shouldn't worry too much about this. I know legislators, first of all, you know, the rumors have started, there's a plan to extend 7 years, you know, which is horrible. I saw it in some of our Tana River WhatsApp groups, and I immediately say it is horrible. If that was the case, you know, nobody would be bothered about hitting the ground now. But people are hitting the ground. Everybody is on the ground, slowly building to a crescendo in the next 2 years. It's not right to start creating stories and bringing tensions when there's nothing. Nobody wants to stay beyond 5 years, I'm telling you. Nobody wants. We want to have that election.
Senator, surely,
no.
You say you speak for everyone, and they say
I speak for myself.
No one wants to go beyond 5 years.
No, I'm telling you, I speak for myself, and I consider one of the people who is reasonable, and most members are reasonable. People want renewed mandate. Because when I stand to speak for Tana River, everybody knows in 5 years I can't speak for Tana River. So I need a renewed mandate. If I stand up now, after 5 years, I'm speaking on whose mandate? I want a renewed mandate, you get. So everybody wants that election. But see, this is because maneno zimeanza kuingia doubts and whatever. So I want to assure Kenyans that on behalf of most of us, or all of us, we cannot go beyond 5 years. And then we are not opposed to the IEBC doing the redistribution of the constituency boundaries, but sometimes it is, the challenges are real. And I want to say this, in the US now, they have also the same problems. You know, if you've been following CNN and you know, the other news channel, they will tell you that there is a very big push and pull between their state house, that is the White House, and the Congress, because there's proposed increase of congressional districts, which we call constituencies here. And you know, they have also set a maximum of 435. But everybody knows that since that time up to now, the representation, the population of the US has more than tripled. So there's need to change the congressional districts, you know, the boundaries. But it is not possible because of what they fear they call gerrymandering. There are areas that they know, this, if we increased by 1, then the Republicans will have you know, an advantage. And the areas they know, if we increase by 1, Democrats will have an advantage. So everybody is fighting. And Trump is saying, we must. In some states are saying, we are not going to, governors in some states are saying, we are not going to do the redistribution. We are not rewriting the congressional districts. So we are not unique. These things happen where this system is. Right. And I'm urging Kenyans, focus on renewal of the mandate. The IEBC will do its work within the practical
And
limitation.
I think everyone is just trying to understand this constitution. 15 years on, when I keep Lagat, we've not been able to amend even a single comma or full stop. Do you think it's going to be easy? Any attempt just to try and ensure that this issue of boundaries review is sorted out in the correct manner? Do you think it's possible?
Maybe just to soften a bit. You know, the reason why we have parliament is, apart from making laws and all the other functions that are enshrined in our constitution, part of it is amending the constitution. That is the mandate of parliament. And in so doing, in the amendment, it is governed by Article 255, 256, and 257, the various forms it can take. The articles we are dealing with, especially the one delimitation of boundaries, Article 89, Article 88, are not subject to the ones that have been stated. You know, there are some sections, some articles of the Constitution that you can only amend through a popular initiative, through a referendum. And they are well stated in Article 255. Part of it is what my senator was talking about, the term limit of the president. There is no way Parliament can wake up and amend the Constitution to increase the term limit of the president. So if you look at Article 255, it is well stated, and there are quite a number of things that cannot be done, including the Bill of Rights, including the functions of Parliament, including the devolved structure, the independence of the judiciary, and those commissions that are stated in Chapter 15. So it is well stated. So given that Article 89, which is now bringing problems between 8 and 12 years, we have already passed that because of issues that were beyond our control. That is the lack of the commission. So it is incumbent when the House comes on recess that we amend that section of Section 89, I think, Part 1, to increase, it's just increasing the sub, but it is not a lot of English. It is saying that from 8 to 12. So we can say from 8 to 15.
So it is possible?
It's possible. In fact, we can do it, when are we resuming? We are resuming on 23rd. We can do it within 2 months. We have, so long as we raise 2/3 in both houses, in the Senate and in because it is a national issue, we can raise. There is a one we have raised, 2/3, the one that is in the Senate.
Now that you mention
CDF issue.
I can see the Senate has issued a statement of the same.
Yes.
That dismissing reports of planned amendment to the Constitution to extend the presidential term limit for 5 to 7 years. This is a Senate.
But you see, Timulia, you know, sometimes also the media, you exaggerate issues.
Is it really?
Even when you know, you know, when you say the Senate wants to amend the term limit of the president, why don't you read Article 255? Article 255 is very clear. The only people who can amend the term limit of the president is Kenyans themselves through a referendum. So when this that now becomes a Senate, and you go publishing on headlines, as if you never went to school.
Probably it's because
or English
the bill is still alive within the Senate.
Or English has become the Kericho way of analyzing. So let us also, as media, we become sensitive and tell whoever is coming with the propaganda that your propaganda is flat-footed, because the Article 255 is very clear. You can only amend the term limit of the president through a referenda. And if Kenyans wishes to extend the term limit of the president, so be it. It can be done through a parliament.
Presents an amendment bill live in the Houses of Parliament, then Kenyans will take that.
By the way, you know, sometimes you take jokes a bit too far. So when you publish there and you have gone to school and you say that the Senate wants to extend the term limit.
Even the senators have gone to school. The same ones presenting bills to the House.
No, but it is clear.
We cannot dismiss the Senator of Nandi as having not gone to school. He's a lawyer.
You know why they do that?
Because
they know you'll put it on the headline. You'll have made his name.
Right.
I have come here and I've said there are some things you should be very serious about.
May I read you Article 255? Article 255(1). A proposed amendments to the Constitution shall be enacted in accordance with Article 256 or Article 257 and approved in accordance with Clause 2 by a referenda if the amendment relates to any of the following: A, the supremacy of the Constitution; B, the territory of Kenya; C, the sovereignty of the people; D, national values, principles of governance referred in Article 10(2) A to D; E, Bill of Rights; F, the term of office of the president. Can I stop there?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Thank you for that. And I think the matter can rest. We can allow the matter to rest here. Thank you for that clarification, Bwana Kiplagat. I want us to move to another discussion. And this entire week, we've been looking at the 3 years of President William Ruto. And I'm told there's quite some feedback also. So yes, allow me to check on that as well before we move to Ruto at 3. So, and thank you so much, viewers, for sending us feedback. Trying to see where this is now. All right, on that issue, Gladson Madine says the courts are open to manipulation to derail very important constitutional mandates of government agencies. Boundaries review are important and key to equal representation of the people. Therefore, we need to strike a balance between sabotage and rule of law. Thank you, Gladson. Timothy Turunga says election is a process. Free and fair elections start with voter registration. Akoth, that's Marcelina Akoth. Wengi Wao, 2027 will go back home very early. Ledama Meidiki Meshak. As a country, we have bred selfishness and laxity in politicians by not holding them to account. This has really impacted this country negatively. Yes, these are just some of the conversations with relation to what we've been discussing. And thank you for your contribution. I'll continue sampling some of your views. Move on now to the next discussion, and this has to do with President William Ruto's 3 years in office. This Saturday marks exactly 3 years since he took oath of office, the 13th of September, 2022. According to the Daily Nation, and they have a picture of the president with the 2 of his fingers up, and they say he only has 2 years to do what he promised to do. And now they're talking about the number of years remaining in his term. First,
you have just told Kenyans 2 terms, so just leave it at that.
No, I don't know why they've chosen to do that.
Leave it at that and we proceed.
On the front page of the Daily Nation, they've listed 12 issues that the president promised that this he will deliver to Kenyans. 1 on agriculture, to transform 2 million poor farmers to surplus producers. Has that happened 3 years on? On housing, to supply 250,000 new houses per year. This is the 3rd year. Number 3 on healthcare, publicly funded primary healthcare and comprehensive insurance. Number 4 on education, to bridge the teachers' shortage of 116,000. On 5, gender, to achieve the 2/3 gender rule in public positions. Number 6 on women, provide free sanitary towels in all schools and public washrooms. Number 7, now this is all picked from the manifesto. We're not coming up with anything. Number 7 on governance, establish public inquiry into state capture, which was to happen within 30 days, if I remember right. On devolution, timely transfer of shareable revenue to counties. As we speak about, quite a number of counties are yet to pay their employees. Number 9 on human rights, extrajudicial executions by security agencies. On roads, complete all roads under construction. Economy, create jobs, scrap harsh taxes and boost incomes. And finally, on manufacturing, boosting the manufacturing share of economy. Now, if we may do a fair assessment, we are way beyond the halfway mark for the first time of William Ruto. This is a 3-year mark. You're left with about less than 24 months. And we've just been talking about how hectic the political season we do expect will be happening in the next few months. And is it practical, from your perspective, Justina, that this president may be able to achieve even, let's be fair, 60% of what is there on the front page of the Daily Nation?
No, it's not possible. But in all fairness, I can say where I feel something has been done is in agriculture. And I think that is what you should have done instead of even giving these borders for economic empowerment. The time they subsidized fertilizer, at least the cost of unga went down. But again, Kenyans are saying, I wish we could get it to 100 shillings. And the only way for them to get that, for government to achieve to 100 shillings, is that they lower the cost of production. Remember, issue of getting capital from the banks is still costly. Issue of transportation, issue of energy as a factor of production. So that is the only place I feel they have achieved. But when you look at healthcare, true, there is SHA, but everyone is complaining that when I go to this hospital, I am not getting the services, or money has been lost. They are yet to explain to us, what do you mean money has been lost? They are saying money hasn't been lost, but already we are seeing the ordinary Kenyan has trust deficit with this administration. So when it's written money is lost, clearly they know money has been lost. Roads, the road network, really people are not seeing any development, and as at last week, they reached the 12 trillion mark. Remember, in terms of debt, Kenyans are asking, where is this money going? Remember, even local debt, they have like 6.5 trillion in terms of that debt, meaning they're crowding at the private sector because they're getting loans from local, internally or domestic. So Kenyans are saying, fine, if you're taking loans, we want to see where is this development. We are not seeing it. Issues of human rights. Now there's the issue of compensation of people who died during Maandamano. So on that again, he has failed. Devolution, they are complaining that money is late. But I also want to challenge, we need to also think, how do we order the disorder in how we find devolution? Does it mean counties will just sit back and wait for money from national government? They also need to tell us what they are doing with the money on the ground. Those are questions Kenyans should be asking. Something else about the sanitary towels. I don't know whether it was a funded project when they were promising, because I've not seen that, including diapers. Mothers, we had been told when you get children, you're going to get diapers. We haven't seen that. So what I feel, in all fairness, where they have achieved is on the fertilizer. Everything else, including Hustler Fund, including, they have failed. And I don't think the 2 years now will be enough for him to do. There is no miracle in this.
Is it time, Madam Ilachi, that the president changes tack and promises that, yes, admits that he overpromised in the next 2 years, that he'll focus on maybe 1 or 2 things and deliver on that? Because if at all he gets to 2027 with this kind of scorecard, that out of the 12 or more things that he promised, most of them have not been delivered. Is that the way he would want to approach the elections in 2027?
Okay, thank you, Ndimole. And first is to appreciate that as much as we come and we talk about the president, I think every Kenyan who is receiving public resources should also be questioning, in this new dispensation that we've had, what have we done good, or what have we done bad? And are we able to change a few things for that office to function, for a Kenyan to find service? Because it is about all this, but it is given to someone else now to implement. And that's the biggest challenge all of us always face. So let us start with the issue of the gender, the achievement of the 2/3 gender rule, because I'll start with what women would have wished to see. I think the president said he has goodwill. We have the amendment in Parliament. It is not just the issue of the president. It will be our issue when it comes on the floor of the House, because they passed it through NADCO. We've gone through our own challenges with it. We've pushed it. And you realize it has a lot of push and pull about it. So let's wait. That one, we put it, I would want to say unpacking it, because it's a process going on. So that when we come to the end, the day we do the voting of that bill is the day now we start judging our male colleagues and the president himself for the goodwill.
Even away from Parliament and the 2/3 requirement for Parliament, this is in public appointments. Do you feel the president has delivered that 2/3 gender In public appointments.
You see, in public appointments, now, that is where everything of women play a game of twist, because one will ask you in the executive, so how do you put that 2/3? Are you putting it only in the cabinet? Someone will say no, even the principal secretaries are part of it. So you'll be challenged there until the day also we put it very clear that when we say 2/3, we're saying 2/3 in the cabinet, 2/3, which we would wish as women. But I know all the men, plus you in Dumuli, you'll say it is within the executive. So let's not go there.
My panel is 50-50 today, so I think I did well.
No, you didn't. That one you didn't do that. But anyway, I'm just trying to say. So let us come to education. For the first time, because I want us to give where there is due respect, where the president has tried his best, and where I will tell you this one, I know we pack it, we leave it, he moves on with other things. So education. So you have brought in so far 74. Yeah? 1,000 teachers. But we will still ask the president, why do you have a big wage bill? But you brought in new people, yeah? 74,000. And I know we have another that is coming in January. So by the time we get to January, he will have achieved his 116. And he will be we will have closed that gap, isn't it? So we say, you have brought in, but let me now say where the challenge is. Because that's why I'm saying, it's not just about employing. It's about also employing, but having a good start on where we are headed. I have a big challenge. And I'm sorry to tell my teachers, I have. And I pray that each one of them will look, did you come to the job just because it can give you a salary? Or did you come in because I know they are very good ones. By the way, the Mwalimu of Kenya High, I salute her. And I'm hoping parents in Kenya High are going to hold on this Mwalimu to see our children where they go. And I want to salute the girls of Kenya High, because they knew how to dialogue and deal with their issue than what I saw at St. George's, which I was a bit sad.
And you're mentioning this because you're an MP of that area?
Yes. I'm mentioning because all of them are my schools. And I'm hoping we can sort out that one of St. George's and find the right, why am I saying this? I have a teacher, I won't say her name, who came into a school, find a school with a lot of debt, but today she's clean debt. She is up to date in paying everything of her school. It's a small school. Parents don't pay school fees very well, but she has tried. I have another one in my same constituency where parents pay school fees, but you're in a debt of 64 million. Now, those are Kenyans. Two different people, how they run their schools. And so when the new teacher is coming in, is wondering, where do I start? Mm-hmm. And all of us are women, so it's not about men or men. I'm just saying, Kenyans, the day we start from the small office to do the right thing, the top will do the right thing.
Yet we're talking about the president's promise.
No. That's why I'm saying, now you have brought me teachers, but I'm saying all the challenges that we are going to face. So yes, so I've told you
He's the one who made these promises. We cannot blame others.
Has he done it? Has he given us 74,000? Yes, he has.
Against a promise of 116. No one gave him the numbers.
No, he has 2 years to go. So 74, what is when you minus 116, he's remaining with how many who are coming in January. He will have closed. So we are trying to just see what he has done. But we need to ask ourselves, after you have done that, the implementation of it, so that Kenyans can feel what you have done. Mm-hmm. Now we go to health. This one, from the day it started, I was one of those who kept on saying, that process, the way we are moving, will bring us many challenges. But then I realized in Kenya, if you don't also push it, and you try and say you have to do this, it might not work. Now, who are stealing the money? Us Kenyans. We go, we cut our legs 10 times. We want to be paid, and we do some deals here, and there. We must stop that. This thing has to work, because it can work. And it is the only one in Africa where everyone, and remember, this healthcare thing, when we went to the AU with Uhuru that time, this is a resolution of the AU. It's not about Kenya. It was meant for every country in Africa to try and have an insurance for them. Okay. Now this, we must think through. Don't talk about NHIF now. We now know even in NHIF we were stealing money because it has proved Kenyans steal. So not Kenyans, but those who are in the health sector.
If he fails on that SHA, which is his flagship project,
yes,
by 2027,
yes,
should we hold him
accountable? No, you see, the problem again with us Kenyans is that between me and you here, we can say that. Let me tell you, this thing of politics is so individualistic.
We vote for leaders based on their performance.
Just wait.
Are you
now,
sure?
see, you let me explain. If it was based on his performance, then what? She would have done better in 2022. So anyway, let me just say this. Let me tell you one thing, Indumuli. Kenyans, even in my own constituency, the things I've done does not determine my vote to be voted.
Correct.
Forget. I do it for my legacy that one day. But there is a very different thing you have to do for Kenyans. Yes, very different. And the day we learn that, the day we learn how our votes are counted. So anyway, this, there is a person in Kawangware. By the way, there's a young man there who at Kenyatta Hospital paid a bill that even me, I said, okay. God has graciousness. And so that one, just listen to me. That one, if you tell him SHA does not work, he'll tell you, So it is very individualistic on this. But we must make sure it works better. We must make sure it becomes what we proved to Kenyans it can be. So now let us come to housing.
Madam Melachi, allow me to do it this way because of time.
Yes.
Because you've looked at
Let me finish housing because it's in Nairobi, then you move.
Just housing, then.
Housing.
Yeah.
So housing in Nairobi. You know, Kenyans have this saying, afadhali nimeona moja. So when you go to Mukuru, and when you walk into Jalas's constituency, which is about to end, and then you walk into Woodley where it has started, and then the other day I went somewhere also, they were now availing, that person will say, Mama Dago tumeona, ile ya Uhuru, ya Pangani mpaka wa leo, wajua zingine hatujaona, lakini hii tumeona. You see, and that's the problem of these things. All of them are very individualistic things. Just the same way a teacher will feel, I was employed in this regime. And he will think very differently.
And we've asked this question for people to rate the performance. Ronald Abuga says 20%. Swawa Asamba says the best performing president in the first 3 years. Munuve Stevens, 0.5%. Joseph Anderson wa Mukoya, failure. Samuel Kanzola Nyanjui, looking forward to the remaining 2 years. Nicholas Kome, zero corruption only. Bernard Muhanji, 10% because he's still planning until he needs time extension to start working. Someone who says two of them, Fredo Uma and Moshiri Babaki Glenn, wanasema 0.0%. Ruben Masinde says the shilling is stable, but nothing in our pocket.
Roads are being done.
Zeng Fellow says Shida bin Tabu. Collins Langat gives him a 60%, and Dati Joseph 0%. Kadenge or Nampira are saying he's simply the best. Luyai, I'm just wondering what happened to bottom up. That private jet ride to Ethiopia cost money enough to feed kids in school for the rest of his term in power. Then he again wants to lengthen his term. Back to that issue of lengthening his term. It's still one term for me. I wish it was half term. Nothing to smile about. Anyona Alois. Adagala Oscar says, not bad after withdraw Gachagua. He's doing great. And Edwin Kipkoech Kanji says, best. No other president did what he has done in 3 years. Bila Chuki is the best. Those are just some of the sentiments. Senator, are we being too critical of the president when we actually go by his manifesto and look,
even Uhuru,
more than half of his first term done and a lot is yet to happen?
So the newspapers have to sell their papers. Let me finish, don't interfere because I know you are in that space.
Yeah.
So they would want to sensationalize things, okay? But if I was a judge, I would probably put the achievements versus those ones where the goals have not been met. But when you look at the headline, it's showing you only the ones that have not been met. So maybe I can tell you this, Indimuli, and maybe Kenyans need to be reminded. When we took over, this government in 2022, the exchange rate was about 160 to the dollar. And then right now...
I want to challenge that because the exchange rate as of September was 122 shillings. It went to 165 after President Ruto.
And why I'm saying that, and I hope you'll cover my time for that, is because we came into a situation where there was no import cover for the dollar. Every month we were supposed to raise $500,000 to cover for the oil that we needed to buy directly. So obviously that 160 is a reflection of the immediate past administration. So I tell you again and again that 160 was what we found, because that is where the import cover was not covering, okay? Now we are talking about a reduced exchange rate of the dollar, okay? We had an import cover of just about 2.5 months of something between $6 billion, which means that in terms of our foreign currency reserve, if the country was to do nothing, in 2 months, we will have a collapsed economy. Oh, yeah. But then now we have a 10-month, a $10 billion US cover, which takes us to about 6 months, which is big. And you need to see how the CS Treasury explains this so that Kenyans can understand. We have come from far. We have come from far, and we need to appreciate that. And some of us who are from the coast, I want to tell you, this president has done more than any other president we've ever had since independence. There is no president.
How do you qualify that?
Wait, I'm coming.
No, it's just a question.
I'm coming.
It's just a question.
I'm coming. There is no president who has invested in blue economy since independence like President William Ruto. This is the first time that beach management units along the coast, not just the coast, but even in the lake regions, that we are having units that are being given fishing gear. We are having deliberate efforts by the government to actually create fishing landing sites, both in the lake regions and in the coastal region. We are having actually fishing ports being created. So let's be fair with this president. And let's be honest also with this president. At the international level, I have said, because I'm the head of the delegation for Pan-African Parliament, and I can tell you William Ruto has really lifted the people's thinking in Africa, because I sit in that parliament, about Kenya. And right now, you know, he has been appointed by all heads of states in Africa to head the infrastructure changes of the African Union. We are talking about a president who, when he came, Hustler Fund with all its problems and whatever, to date, 60 billion of Kenya shillings has been distributed. How many beneficiaries? 23 million Kenyans have benefited in one way or the other. How many Kenyans have been removed from the blacklist of the credit? 7 million Kenyans have been delisted from the credit blacklist of this of getting finance. What am I talking about? I'm saying Nation Media Group and your headlines. Please, when you are putting these headlines, also be honest enough, be fair enough, and balance it.
Okay.
More than any other president, you know, we have about 250,000 teachers, or thereabout, if I'm not wrong. And in his 2 years, he has done not even 76,000 teachers. Let's give him credit. And let me say that I agree with Mheshimiwa here when he says Kenyans don't elect you on the basis of what you have achieved. I mean, during our older times, Mheshimiwa Raphael Tuju as MP, he actually even took these mobile services for ambulance to his constituency, and they still didn't. They actually told him, come and pick your whatever, So Kenyans, they don't elect you on that. So we are not saying this so that they can elect us.
Okay.
But we are saying this so that facts can be put there.
And because of time, allow me to give Bwana Kiplagat an opportunity to talk about this. But I also need, because I'm required to do this, and I have the official exchange rates for the week running between 12th September to 18th September 2022. The president took over office on 13th of September. The US dollar to Kenya shilling was 120.2 buying, 120.4 selling.
Okay. And the import cover?
And the import
cover.
We talked about exchange rate.
No, you have to put the import cover in.
Immediately after that.
Yeah,
I just wanted to clarify.
No, I'm just telling you.
No, don't play with
the
it
administration,
also,
you know, the administration.
Okay.
Yes, Bwana.
So, Indemule, you will allow us some time because from
you have about 3 minutes.
From what is coming, you have built a lot of negativity on something that, looking at what the president has been able to achieve, it's very rosy. On the issue of exchange rate, you don't expect you are a magician. You come to the office today, and tomorrow things happen, and you know market is always fluid. So, based on the negativity that had been built, that this country had a lot of debts, had a lot of what it will collapse, then immediately a new government comes in, the market became fluid. So it was only that the president had stayed in the office for what you are reading for around I didn't even assumed office, I don't know. But I'm
assumed on 13th.
That is what we found out, and the president, give it to the president, he has been able to stabilize all macro factors to a situation whereby now it has stabilized at around between 125 and 130. May I go to the subject matter? I want to give the president
All of us are lawyers.
at least 80% from the achievement he has been able to do. Look at agriculture. Agriculture, immediately he was sworn in, he was able to pronounce subsidy for fertilizer from 7,000 to 2,500. And that has increased our production of maize, which is the food security of this country, from as below as 39 million metric tons to around now we are talking about going to 70 million metric tons. That has stabilized. We are no longer talking about importation of maize. Look at what he has been able to do in the sugar sector. Sugar sector had been taken up by cartels, and it was colonized by some few families. And when the president says that either you choose three things, you remember the three things, including going to heaven. Things are stabilized. Now we have we passed the Sugar Act. We have the Kenya Sugar Board. We have now stabilized the production of sugar, and soon, going forward, when we are working on the variety of around around it matures in 9 months, I can tell you, by 2027 we shall be a net exporter of sugar. He is working around the clock along the coast to see the edible oil we can be able to produce, because that's another thing that is consuming our resources. So in agriculture, you can give the president 100%, because you cannot give anybody 100%, give him 99.5%. That will be fair enough. Look at what was happening, the bill that was in the roads. All the contractors had vacated site. As we are talking now, and this one you go and verify, all the contractors are back to the roads, and they are doing the roads, because through securitization of the RMLF funds around the 7 shillings, we have been able to get the funds that were necessary for those contractors to go back to site. And they are back to site. Look at education. Education, for the first time, the president has been able to employ 76,000 teachers. And as we talk now, recruitment is going on for a further 24,000 teachers. So in 1 month or 2 months, we shall have 100,000 teachers employed. And we have 2 years to go. I can tell you, by the time 2027, we shall not only be in 116, we shall be in around 250 if we go on the same.
Touched to agriculture and education.
We shall be in around 150 on the
Out of the 12 issues raised here,
look about the devolution.
agriculture.
I can tell you, by the time we were closing the balance sheet of last financial year, there was no balance.
Oh, yeah,
Are we clear on that? The counties were not, there was no any balance. Look at the data there in the treasury. You can Google, the way you have Googled the exchange rate, Google also that one.
you will find that there was no balance.
It's only that I don't have the time right now. There are so many challenges.
You know, by the time we are going,
all right,
there will be no.
And I'll give you another opportunity because we only have 7 minutes.
Let's
so I want to
look at housing, just housing.
Yeah, just housing.
In the housing, for the first time, I can tell you, we are currently in the process of deploying to this country over 1 million houses. In my constituency alone, the projects that are going, and we can go when you are in Eldoret, I can take you. We have around 3,500 in my constituency alone. If you multiply that, you replicate in 290 constituencies. Okay. You will see that the current construction of houses that are going on is around 1 million. So what do they want to deliver? 250.
250,000 per year.
250,000. Right now we are in 1 million and we are 2 years.
600,000.
I can tell you, by the time we are in 2027, we shall be 2 million. 2 million.
Okay.
This one is even low. We need to upgrade it. So
logically,
look at...
allow me to give each one of you a minute and a half. I could give you a minute and a half now.
May I finish?
Yes.
The only thing...
Parting short, a minute and a half.
The only thing
that
is affecting our country, which Honorable Elijah has elaborated very well, is corruption. Corruption is endemic. And the president, and we agree with the president that if we are to succeed, especially in SHA, because SHA is very good, but cartels, the same cartels who are in sugar sector, the same cartels who are also in this SHA, have also migrated in this SHA. And I can tell you, the only thing we have to do in 2 years is to make sure we fight the corruption that is pandemic in SHA, and SHA is going to work.
Okay. Parting shot.
So my parting shot is that the president has, for the first time, we have a working president who is working hard. Currently is in 80%. By the time we are going to 2027, he will achieve about 90%, which is an excellent. And if Kenyans are looking at the report card, our report card is there to be seen. We are not hiding. This is the report card. And I wish you had time. You know this, in fact, call us.
I'll have like 20 seconds you could use it.
Finally, next time, on Wednesday, I'll be available. Call us for, no, I'll not be available that Wednesday. The other one. Call us for this race against the time for 1 hour.
1 hour.
We shall be able to elaborate from point 1 to point 12.
All right.
Yes.
Justina, you go next.
Why Kenyans feel the president hasn't worked. He promised many things in 100 days. They lapsed. Something else, they have won seats. They should tell us what they do to win the seats if it's not performance. But I want to leave Kenyans with this information that all these things are telling us. The president has borrowed 3.5 trillion in that short period. Additionally, when they tell us that the banks are telling us they have 17.6% non-performing loans, most of it is 700 billion pending bills. So what is the government doing to spur up the economy? But finally, Kabisa, I want to remind Kenyans that when they tell us that they have lowered the interest rate, they are doing so for them to borrow from the domestic market. Kenyans, the issue is bigger than 1 term, than 2 term. The issue is creating wealth for this country. If you want to vote for performance, start doing so, because you have been told you don't vote for performance.
No, you don't.
All right.
Thank you.
Madam Elachi, go next.
Well, for me, I'll just say that it starts with the very small things. And I just want to tell every Kenyan, just look what you do, where you throw your garbage, because everything will end up being, we use money to collect that garbage. So why can't we save? We want to save money, we have to do it the right way. We must accept this. We have a weakness, all of us as Kenyans, that we want to have very quick things and very short-term things, which is not right for a country. That's why you go abroad, you envy, because the forefathers there build, and they build knowing very well. And they have debt. Even in the US, they have debt. But you can have debt that transforms a nation. That is what we must. So it's not about counting how much debt we are. In fact, we should thank God. We are not like, I saw Ghana on the street now trying to say how we are Africa, how we need to remove this debt. We have to thank God as Kenya. We did not reach there because we were headed there. But then the most important thing, debt is good when you are using it the right way. Can we have it but transform our country? And can we have it and change ourselves? Change. Let's not point to the president. The 4 points at us. And I have said every office, Every Kenyan, first of all, who has done a tender in this government should be telling us how good you have done this tender, how you have done in quality, and we are hoping in 1 year you're not telling us the same road is going to be washed by water.
All right.
Or rain.
Thank you so much, Madam Elachi. Finally, Senator, you wrap it up for us.
I think Kenyans should really look at a very great future coming years. And I say this because we have a president who is listening. Initially, when the president was going around the country, a lot of people were saying, oh, why can't he stay in State House? Why can't he do? But he laid the foundation to listening to what we are now seeing happening. He had the roads, there was a problem. He had people are having employment issues. And now he has actually started pushing those things in the correct direction. Inflation has gone down. We had 9.6 in 2022. It went down in 2024 to about 2.8. Now we are doing about 3% there. Let me tell you, this president, whatever you think of him, in terms of the facts, in terms of where he's taking this country, he's very clear. And I think Kenyans should give him the support. And I want to distinguish that from elections and politics. You may support or not support the president, but don't tell lies about the things that we are achieving in this country. That is not patriotic. You can criticize, that's okay, but it's not right to tell outright lies about this administration. And I always say the elections is like a new pregnancy. For us who are married, we know that your wife's first pregnancy may not be the same as the second, may not be the same as the third. It's the same wife, you know, but there are different reactions. So the fact that I was very good during this pregnancy and we raised this child for 2 years before the next one came,
yes,
does not determine how this pregnancy will turn out. Okay. So the factors for electability may not be the same as the factors for the administration. What I'm asking Kenyans, and I beg them, when we come to achieving, we are having a president, we are having a minister, we are having governors. When they are doing well, let us support those administrations. Okay. But in the elections, you have your right to make your decisions. Okay. And Kenya is really heading in the right direction.
This is what Kenyans are saying. Vincent Ombati, tribalism, abduction, killing and looting. Worst president ever, JJ. D, mosaic cults, it's a throw. Phyllis Ndiva, 10%. Benito Irungu, there's nothing to rate in terms of development for this regime. How about you talk about embezzlement of public funds and corruption? There's just some of the, and I'm reading directly from Ushiri Babake, 2%. I don't even want to hear someone mention that. That's Fred Mbogwa Jogona. Wambogo, incompetent. Benson, I won't read that one. Special joy. In terms of development projects, it has always been promised without fulfillment. I remember when he said about the 1 million chapatis. Till date, stories ajaba. 5%. No rating yet. Mutia Mutemi, everything is done with borrowed loans. So that means our taxes zinaenda kwingine. Pato Ranking Kalani says a very industrialized, intelligent president. Love you, William, 78%. Joseph Cairo, below average. Jemo Rapa, below expectation. Fimbo ya Jamii, Ruto, let do the work. Bebe Mumias, East Kakamega County, well represented. Well, Silas Kipkemboi, 9 out of 10. So these are just some of the sentiments there.
Percentages for our parents at home. They are able to say, this week, I have done this for my parents.
This week we were just rating President William Ruto's, listen to me, we were just rating President William Ruto's first 3 years of office. Yes. It may not be your first 3 years. The date for President William Ruto is 13th of September, which falls on this Saturday. That's the only reason why we're looking at that. So let's be fair.
But let me say this, and this I'm saying because I know,
we don't have time.
This I have
someone else's
It's
time.
not about the president. No. Now, let me say this. I know we have done a lot, and I know right now, because I have relatives in Tanzania, and Kenyans in Tanzania are now going through a lot. So I want to plead to Kenyans that let us leave Tanzania Right now, you're told your maize cannot even go through Namanga or your business. I mean, it's not right.
Okay.
So I want us to tone down on Tanzania, and very soon all our teachers are coming back.
Okay.
So do we have jobs for them here?
But I think also
Let's stop
Tanzania
that
should
thing.
leave being emotional.
Yes, thank you so
No,
much.
no.
Thank you so much, David.
It is their country.
We're really out of time.
Just something.
It is
You see,
their
there's something
country.
that has been said here that Kenyans don't vote for performance.
What do they vote for?
I can tell you, Kenyans,
you know,
the ones I know,
Why do
they
you bring
vote for performance.
They vote for performance.
And the performance of William Samoei Ruto is what will count. If we go that direction, is that somebody can say he can sing one term until they become president. There is no way.
David, keep like that.
It can never happen.
100 days.
Danson Mungatana, Senator Tana River, Beatrice Alachi, MP Dagoretti North, and Justina Omai, champion for economic democracy. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Fred.
TV7
You vote for tribal.
Wednesday. Race against time is a big headline on the front page of the Daily Nation. Billionaires League comparing William Ruto to Beyonce and Mark Zuckerberg and Oprah Winfrey, Elon Musk and Bill Gates. That's a standard. I'm just reading directly. Hackers steal 1.59 billion shillings from bank deposits, and how LSK move could hit MPs and 2027 aspirants hard. My name is Fred Indimuli. Let's hope for better headlines tomorrow. Good morning.